So if I could time travel and tell my previous self when I was feeling rejected, or like I didn't fit in, or like I didn't belong, or like something was wrong with me, or I was behind in life, feeling any of those various things, if I could go to that person, if I could time travel and tell her in those seasons of life when I felt, I don't know, not othered, but I mean, sometimes, yeah, I kind of felt like othered. I guess that could be the word. Feeling like you're not exactly one of us. Yeah, that's the vibe. The you're not exactly one of us vibe. If I could go back to different times in my life where I felt that way in my social circle, I would go back and I would say, Kendall, hang on. This feeling is not going to last. It's hard, but your people are out there, and just hang on because they're around the corner. And I'm making this video since I can't time travel and tell myself that. I'm putting this video out there so it can kind of be timeless and travel out to you if you need to hear this, because maybe you're feeling othered, like different, or like you don't belong or you don't fit in, or maybe you've been rejected by like your friendship circle. That's really, really on my mind right now because there's a book I'm reading where that is the whole theme of like rejection from friends. It's a fictional story. I can maybe make a video about it later, but I even had a dream the other night that kind of took me back to those feelings of like junior high and feeling like gossiped about or rejected or just being like kind of a social outcast. And it brought back those feelings. I was like, oh my goodness, should I be reading this book? Like, I'm sure it's going to have a good message, but ooh, it brings out those, it's not really like a flashback, but it's like difficult sometimes to remember how it felt to be kind of an outcast or othered. Like, outcast could be an overly dramatic way of describing it in some of the situations that I'm going to describe to you today. It definitely is how I felt in 8th and 9th grade, for sure. But there's other seasons in my life that I'll talk about that outcast is not the right word, but the word would be kind of othered. That's the only word I can keep thinking of, is like, whether people know it or not, kind of making it seem like you're not quite one of them. So here's what I'm talking about. And also, there is a happy ending to this because, like I said, if you're feeling this way, well, one, hopefully seeing this video and hearing my experiences will help you feel like you're not alone, and that there are people out there who have been through those feelings and then kept going and then eventually met their people. And so I really want you to like, don't give up on either making friends or finding a community where you feel like you can just like breathe that sigh of relief and just be you. I'm putting this out there for you so that you keep going. And I hope that my experiences, even though people's lives take different paths, and just because it happened for me a certain way, it doesn't necessarily mean that your life is going to go exactly how mine went. Like, not true. But I'm hoping that this opens the door to like the idea of the possibility of things getting better, at least as far as like finding a community or finding friends or a social circle where you can feel like you belong. Yeah, that's what it is. You just want to feel like you belong. Like, you know, like the show Cheers, you know, where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came. Like, it's pretty profound if you think about it. Like, I feel like we all would like that feeling with the people that were around. So my first experience, I would say, with feeling kind of like socially outcast or yeah, I'll just start with that one because it sounds the most dramatic, but it was a painful time. So 8th and 9th grade, so being like age 14 and 15, I think that would be it. 14 and 15 were really difficult years. The school that I went to was a small private school, and my class size was really small. So if you didn't wear like the considered stylish clothes and stylish hair, like the latest cool. I'm so glad I don't care about that stuff anymore. If you weren't wearing like cool stuff, then you basically were like laughed at or excluded or just treated like you weren't there or like you didn't matter. Yeah, gosh, kids can be so mean. It's like, oh my word. Oh, wow. I really hope you push through those seasons of your life because, oh, my 8th and 9th grade self will be so happy to see the life that I was able to lead, to like keep going and find those people because, so 8th and 9th grade was extremely difficult. Friendships that I had in 7th grade disappeared for one reason or another. It's kind of a long story, but I came down to like just me and one other friend. So it was the kind of thing where like if she was sick one day, I was like devastated because I had nobody. It was like I had one friend. We were both outcasts, and if she wasn't there that day, it was like the worst because I couldn't talk to anybody. I mean, I didn't feel like I could talk to anybody. It's hard to explain if you haven't been in it. Like, I got voted most shy by those people. Where, like, if you would have seen me at home with my family or relatives, it would be like, most shy? Really? Because I would be goofy and dance around the living room to my favorite songs and, like, laugh and talk, very freely. But when you don't feel like it's safe to be you around a group of people, you're going to withdraw. At least that's what I did. So I tucked myself in because I didn't feel like it was safe to be me. Although I really admire those people who just don't care what other people think. I would love to not care what other people think. I've gotten better at it over the years, but junior high, no, I did not know how to do that. So I got very quiet and very shy at school. So I was voted the most shy girl, and there was a most shy guy. And I was furious when I was voted most shy because it felt like, oh, you people don't know me, but you can't know me because you'll make fun of me or you'll look down on me or, oh, what a drama junior high was. Okay, so let me just say, I'm so glad that I kept going and I persevered because after 9th grade, I got to go to the public high school near us. And that was so fun. I know that a lot of people had a hard time in high school, but I loved it. Do you want to know why? It's because the school was way bigger. There were tons of people there. You didn't have to be cool or cute. Like, you could just wear like 1970s sweaters from the thrift store and you could find someone who was like, hey, cool, you're cool, let's chat. Or, I'll say hello to you in the hallway, or, like, I'll eat with you at lunchtime. Like, it was not hard at all to find people who couldn't care less how you were dressed, how you did your makeup. It was the best. It was so great. I made tons of friends. Sure, there were like the popular kids or the cool kids, but like I didn't care because I had enough choices of people around me who weren't cool. Like, here's how it switched. In 8th and 9th grade, it was mostly cool people. And then the percentage of uncool people was very small. So then it switched when I went to high school. The percentage of cool people was kind of like this small. And then everybody else was just like your average person who you could just say hello to or, chat with. It felt like normal. Like, for me, it might not have been that way. Obviously, it wasn't that way for everybody. But for me, going to high school was awesome. And I'm so glad that I got to make so many great friends there, meet so many different kinds of people. Oh man, I could go on and on. So I loved high school. It was great. So then graduated from high school, went to college, took a break from college, went back to college, lots of friend things happening in there that I won't get into now. But there were more experiences with like rejection and kind of being like, oh, what's the word? I don't know. It kind of felt like felt like a tame version of the movie Mean Girls, where you're kind of like, really? We're in our 20s and we're gonna treat our friends like this? Okay. So like that kind of thing. But then even with that, so then I went through a time of feeling like I didn't have my people. But then I had long distance friends, you know, people who lived out of state or people who I had met at college and was still in contact with, whereas like, okay, those people know me for who I am and they accept me and we don't have all this huge drama. It was so nice. So that was a season where I didn't necessarily have like close friends where I was living, but my out of town people were kind of like my support system. So that was great. So that's another thing to consider, is that if where you are currently, your social circle is not very supportive or you don't feel like you belong, I mean, I still would recommend like looking for those people locally, but also if you can't find them, think of the people that maybe live out of state or that knew you from a different experience somewhere else, and just check in with them, see how those people are doing, maybe catch up, and just try to build your support system long distance if you have to. Excuse me. So the next season, so it was my late 20s, early 30s. I was still single, and I say still because like ever since I was a kid, I thought I was gonna like be married and have a bunch of kids and like, you know, the quote unquote normal life, you know, which is part of the problem because like normal depending on who you're around, right? So the church where I was going was very, 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 very focused on getting married and having kids, like as if that was like the way to be, and that like if you weren't that way, you were kind of seen as like a younger person. Here's what I mean. Like, so for example, there was someone at that church who I think we were almost the same age. And she actually said to me one time, like, oh, you know, it's so funny. I kind of think of you as just like one of the college kids, you know? I was like, why? Why? But she was married and had a bunch of kids and I was single. So pretty much that was it. Anyways, I won't go off on that. That could be a whole video of how like different Christian communities handle singleness versus marriage and families. And oh man, I could go on, but I won't. So all that to say, while I was there were a lot of great things, but like, you know, every place has its pros and cons. And one of the difficulties I faced there was feeling different, or like I felt like, am I behind? Like, wow, I'm still single. But it was, you know, here's the interesting thing about that. That was one church community, but then sometimes I would visit a different church in the area. And when I went there, I never, ever felt different or self-conscious. There's the word. I never felt self-conscious about my marital and family status because it was a church that had like families, but they also had a ton of singles. So it was like shaking the iPad, more varieties of types of people. So when I was in this one community, I felt very self-conscious and like I stood out and was like this big deal that I was single and I didn't have kids, and people thought of me as one of the younger people because I wasn't married. So then I would go to this other place and feel perfectly normal. Normal again is the word. So a lot of times when you're feeling self-conscious or feeling like you're behind or feeling like you don't fit in, I would say look around you and the culture of your community. If it makes it seem like a certain way is normal or a certain life path is considered normal, if you don't meet the normal, and that's talked about a lot, it can contribute to feeling self-conscious or like, why am I different? Am I behind? Anyways, again, that could be a whole other video in itself. But so then eventually I moved out of state and was going to another church after moving. So I got married and moved. I could, you know what, I'll leave a little link to the video about I met my husband online. So I talk a little bit about that and online dating and stuff. So I'll put a link to that in the description. But anyways, the short version is I met my husband online and then we ended up getting married, and I moved across the country to, you know, for me and him to live in his hometown, home state where he grew up. So we were going to one church, one that he'd been going to for a while, and the dress code there was like, it was expected, I don't know, spoken or unspoken, kind of more like a cultural thing in that church community, that like you needed to dress up, you know, like men, you need to wear jackets and ties, and women, you need to, you know, be wearing dresses or skirts. And I always felt really like stressed about how I was coming across. And then we ended up changing churches. But while we were visiting, the church we ended up staying with and that we currently go to, let me just give you an example of someone that I saw during our first visit in this church. I saw a woman wearing pink Crocs to church. It was amazing. I was like, we have to come back here. I mean, there were other reasons, obviously. It's not just about footwear. But I was like, wait, really? Like, I felt overdressed. Like, I dressed up. I wore a skirt. I had the earrings. I did the whole thing. And I realized that, like, oh, that was just from that other community. But here, I could wear pink Crocs and no one cares. Like, really? No one cares? I could wear pink Crocs to church? It was like, it's funny the things that stand out to you. But anyway, so, and then it, you know, we kept finding that every Sunday we'd look around and be like, oh, like you could even wear jeans here and nobody cares. It was so nice. So the other thing I forgot to bring in from my one experience, the church that where the woman was wearing the pink Crocs and that we currently go to, where you can wear jeans or whatever. The other cool thing is that nobody really cares about like the topic of like singleness and marriage and kids. Like, it's just not a big deal. You know, like there's single people, there's people that have kids, there's people that don't have kids, but it's not like this, it's not like this feeling that like if you aren't married and have kids, there's not this feeling that like if you're not that, then you don't fit in, or like, when is this happening for you? Or don't worry, this will happen for you. Like, nobody even cares. I mean, and if they do, I don't hear about it. My friends that are single, I say we because I was single for so long. My friends that are single, I don't think, like, they've never said that they get this kind of question or interaction. It's just like, what I'm trying to say with all of this is that so many times when you feel different or start to feel like, am I behind? Like, sometimes it can be because of the community that you're in or the culture of the place that you're in. And culture can be a neutral, culture itself is a neutral thing. It could be good or bad, have pros and cons in every place. I just want to say that, like, I'm so glad that I kept going through those seasons when I felt different or not fully, like, I didn't feel like I necessarily fit in or just belonged or could just be me. I'm so glad that I kept going, and that in different ways I was able to find a place where I could just like, just breathe and live life and be with people. You know, again, it could have to do with friendships or churches or other communities where you find yourself. It's just, if you are finding yourself in one of those types of situations, please don't give up hope that your people are out there. And you know what? This could even apply to like if you're a content creator, if you're a YouTuber, and if you're getting those ridiculous trolling comments about your appearance or how you talk or the way you laugh or the way if you don't smile enough, or hey, you should wear your hair down or you should wear your hair up, or like you should tell us more personal details, like or just even horrible things. If you are getting trolling comments or people making it sound like nobody likes this type of content, like they're wrong. There are people, it's not that nobody likes this type of content. They don't like this type of content. So, but there are your people out there who are going to like your content, who will love the way you do or don't smile, do or don't laugh, do or don't edit your videos. Your people are out there, and it may take a long time to find them, but they are out there, and I don't want you to give up on finding them. So I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Please check out my other videos. You can check out the one in the description. You can check out the suggested one that is over here or here soon. Or just head over to my channel, check out my other videos, and if they are the types of videos that you would enjoy, please subscribe, because every subscriber and time that you spend watching my videos helps me monetize this channel, which is one of my dreams. Let's make it happen. Okay, thanks for watching, and keep going, and your people are out there.